Welcome to Spoop Squad, the podcast that watches horror films that go flop in the night. I'm Jared.
I'm Hannah.
And I'm Nathan. Get spooped.
Jeez. Get spooped indeed. So for this episode, we watched Llamageddon. This is a movie from 2015. It is rated a 4.0 out of 10, and we watched it on Amazon Prime. What is this movie?
A hot mess.
Yeah.
It's a movie about llama.
It's a space llama.
It's a space llama, and he just doing llama thing. he just doing that hentai fucking.
Oh God.
There was a point. You are right. But first, let's start with the synopsis, because we couldn't find a budget on this movie, and I'm assuming I'm just gonna make up a number. I'm gonna say $13.
Yeah, it was bad. So.
And that was just because they needed to buy a case of Busch beer.
Yeah.
Well, they had to rent a llama. It was Louie the llama. And then they had to rent that cheap helicopter for all of 5 minutes.
That's true.
So I'm going to say the budget was maybe $500 for the llama and the helicopter and the Busch beer.
All right, maybe so. Yeah, I forgot about the helicopter.
Yeah,
but I mean,
yeah.
the helicopter looked like it was like from the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. It was straight Magnum PI shit right there. But then they also had to get the horse trailer that was the spaceship.
Yeah, that's true. But really, they just need some scrap metal to make the wings.
With
But it has wings and it's red. So.
It's red, like a spaceship.
All right, let's do the synopsis before we get into that.
Okay.
All right, a killer llama from outer space crash lands on Earth and brings death and destruction to everyone in its path.
I mean, that is the movie.
That's
Nails it.
it. Sums it up.
Concise.
There's no other point than to just introduce the world to a space llama.
Well, they open the movie with the introduction of little cartoon stomping llamas, and
Oh, no. Stomping and farting llamas.
Yes, they were
that's what I
stomping
was
and
gonna
farting.
say, because you just hear this when the movie opens and the caption says, it says
like-
stomping and farting.
Because it's like stomp, stomp, stomp.
It's
It's very good.
very bad.
It's very bad.
Like, I'm trying to figure out still to this moment why they were farting. Like, I guess it's just for the toilet humor aspect of it. But
Llamas be farting.
do they, though?
They be spitting.
They be
I know
spitting.
they be spitting, but
Llamas be spitting, llamas be farting.
I guess.
Spit, spit, spit. Fart, fart, fart. It's Llamageddon.
Show. All right, let's get into one good thing. Hannah, what's your one good thing? Because I think you probably have the best one of them all.
I do. That's why I stole it. My one good thing is Dan changing shirts 23 times in the whole movie. Now, like, this movie is 69 minutes long.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. And he changes shirts 23 times.
23 times.
It's sometimes into shirts that he's already worn.
Yeah.
I think Dan only owns like 15 shirts, and so he had to recycle a few.
Maybe. But I want to kind of give a little bit more information about him changing shirts. It wasn't like he was just changing shirts because it was a wardrobe change. He was just changing shirts because it was going from scene to scene.
But sometimes it was also in the same scene because they would be
Yeah.
sitting in
Yeah.
the same room. They would pan to somebody else and then they would go right back to Dan and he would be in a different shirt, like a totally different tank top, different color.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Sometimes he had sleeves, sometimes he didn't. That was
Like,
Dan.
For those listening, imagine Robin Hood Men in Tights
Mhm.
and the mole that keeps moving.
Yes.
Like, there's no rhyme or reason for this mole to move,
Yeah.
but it moves
Yeah.
from scene
Yeah.
to scene. That's this shirt for Dan.
Well, it's also like that one dude's facial hair.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
there
yeah.
and then it wasn't.
Definitely
Yeah.
didn't
It's
have
back.
facial hair for like one full scene.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the full goatee,
Yeah.
which is very good.
That was very
Like, I don't know if that was planned or if that was by accident, but it was pretty funny. Nathan, what about you? What's one good thing?
My one good thing is when like there's like scientists and like government people all around the quote unquote spaceship.
Yeah.
And there's one of the guys, his voice just straight up cracks, and I just thought it was so funny that they would leave it in because it was just like, oh no, but you know what? Actually, it fits the a theme in the movie because he's becoming a man, just like Floyd. Floyd becomes a man. This guy became a man while they were at the trailer. It's just so good too because he does it and neither of them react.
Yeah.
And they just go on with the scene as if he didn't just go, huh? That should have let us know exactly what this movie was about to be when we started it.
Oh, yeah. I think we all knew what this movie was going to be.
This was not the direction I was really expecting the movie to go.
Like, I didn't know what to expect. Because when we sat down, I was even like, is this a zombie llama movie? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting alien.
Space llama.
Yeah, space llama.
Yeah,
that's fair.
That's definitely a good twist right up front. Jared, what's your one good thing?
My one good thing
Yeah.
is...
Leave it in. Let's go.
My one good thing is there is a point in the movie where there's some guy. I don't know what his name is. I don't think we're ever given this guy's name. Mark. Yeah. Okay. I guess you paid attention more.
It could be Mark.
Okay. Well, I guess Mark, whenever he goes outside and he is by the llama by the fence and the llama bites his fingers off.
Oh, that's not Mark.
That's not Mark?
No.
See, I don't know whose fucking name is what.
I don't think he had a name.
I don't know that he had a
didn't
name.
have a name.
Yeah.
He was the angry boyfriend.
He was the angry boyfriend.
Yeah, but again, don't know his name. Anyway, so this dude gets his 2 fingers bitten off by the llama, and you can clearly see he just tucks his fingers in. Like they're filming him, and he's like moving his hand around, and you can still clearly see his 2 fingers.
It's very good. That's very good.
It just reminds me, real quick, my grandpa had the tip of his ring finger chopped off in a machine shop when he was working forever ago. I think it was machine shop. But now anytime any of us talk about him, we all tuck our fingertip in to imitate our pop. And that's what that scene made me think of.
Nice. Little did you know, it wasn't a machine shop.
It was a space llama.
It was a space llama.
He was just sworn to secrecy by the government.
Believe it.
Couldn't tell you. All right, let's go into the kill breakdown.
Oh,
Nathan?
That's my thing. All right, so here's the kill breakdown for Llamageddon.
First off, how many total do we get in this movie?
30. This is a record for us.
This is a record for us for sure.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to like blaze through them. So the first kill, it's a husband and wife, which I think are their grandparents.
Yeah,
the grandparents.
Meemaw and Peepaw.
But like, they don't look old.
Well,
and I'm just saying they don't.
To some degree, they don't look
to have
grandparent old. But you have to remember they live on like a farm,
oh,
so it could just be like babies making babies.
I don't know. All right, so they die. So that's 2. Then,
I will say this though.
Oh,
just to cut you off. So
I
their
appreciate that.
mother seems like she's about the same age as their grandparents.
And their dad is definitely older than the grandparents.
Yes.
Definitely older than that girl he was having sex with.
That paid him.
Yeah.
That paid him.
Which is weird.
All I'm saying is he's probably really fucking good at what he does. Anyway, so number 2, we get... Well, so this will be the 3rd death. Sarah gets burned alive in her trailblazer by Llama Laser Eyes.
This is the first time we see Llama Laser Eyes, and it is great.
I love that. Okay, it evolves as the movie goes on, and I love it. 3 is boyfriend, angry boyfriend gets heart ripped out. Girlfriend gets stomped. She did. She got stomped.
But okay, real quick. those legs, because we talked about
They're definitely
Yeah.
just like llama legs on sticks.
Yes,
Yes.
it's like broomsticks covered in fur with little hooves taped on the end, but they kept switching the side of which one was like the white leg and the brown leg.
Yeah. All right. And then 5 would be 7 people got electric hot tub therapy.
The funny thing is, though, is at first it's only 5.
Yeah.
And then you get the 2 girls that come in afterwards when they're like in the middle of being shocked.
electrocuted. Yeah.
And they're like, oh, let's get in.
Everyone in the hot tub is dead.
That's okay. We're gonna come back to that because that is one of my favorite scenes in the whole fucking movie. All right, and then we got beer pong girl and guy get zapped by llama laser eyes. They don't really get just zapped though; they get completely fucking vaporized.
Yes.
and their blood goes everywhere.
Like they are at least 20 feet away from the porch and they just douse the porch in blood.
I wrote down drunk nap girl because you don't really know how she dies. She goes out the door, closes the door, and then turns around. And then from inside, you just see blood being squirted onto the window with like a fucking super soaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very funny. So I didn't know how to say she died. So I just put drunk nap girl.
My assumption is the laser thing again, but they had already shown it to us like twice. So I think they just
Yeah.
caught it and just said, okay, she's dead.
Yeah. All right. And then Cherry Picker gets zapped by eye lasers. Why is she called Cherry Picker again? Hannah, do you remember?
She goes for the virgins and she likes to tune each other's instruments.
She sticks around long enough for to tune their instruments.
Brr-doo-doo.
And then it's such a great fucking, oh God. Dan's my favorite in this movie. Speaking of Dan gets laser-eyed while he's holding the space stick.
The fucking space stick.
When he's going to go into valiant war against a space llama while wearing a gold Star Trek shirt.
Yes.
It's
Yeah,
his last shirt.
He gives this epic speech, and then immediately I was like, oh no, he's going to die. He's not even wearing a red star. He's not even red shirting it. It's a gold Star Trek. Yeah, it's like, oh no. All right, so Dan got laser-eyed. Then Trent got shot by Floyd's dad.
The shitty boyfriend, Trent.
Yeah, who could also have been Mark.
So one thing you're not mentioning is that he is turning into a llama.
And
Oh, no,
giving-
he has been turned
Yeah.
into like some sort of hybrid.
Well,
but I wanted
he's
to
a
get
hybrid
back
for
to that
sure.
later because
Yeah.
I almost wrote down the whole thing that happened to Trent in
Yeah.
this, and I was like, we'll come
No,
back
it's
to it.
definitely a ridiculous moment.
All right, and then 10 baby llamas / llama eggs get shot by Floyd's dad. And then Floyd's dad kills the llama with a combine or a thresher, like a wheat thresher.
Yeah.
And then
Which you called it. You called the Chekhov's combine basically at the beginning of the movie.
I did, because he walks up to it and he goes, "Oh, neat," and touches the blade
Yeah.
of it. And I was like, "Oh no, that's what's gonna kill the llama."
Yeah.
And then
I did not expect the movie to be that aware.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, and then the last death is Floyd's dad succumbs to llama bite wounds.
Yeah.
That's basically it. That's the breakdown.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's getting us into ridiculous moments because one thing we didn't mention, Floyd is the main character of this
Mhm.
movie.
Who becomes a man?
Who becomes a man. Because he is the virgin that has sex in the middle of the movie
Yeah.
and becomes a man. Like, he is...
Like his voice drops and everything.
Yeah. Like...
She was like, "You did great." And he was like, "Thanks. I became a man."
Yeah. He's like, "Now I'm a man."
Mom.
Oh man. He's a little man brother.
He's a little man brother.
He's a little man brother.
Which is sister Mel...
Marissa
Mel.
Whatever.
That didn't make sense.
I think he genuinely in that scene forgot what her character's name was, and instead of cutting it, they just left it in because they both didn't crack.
I hope so.
There was like no real editing in this movie. They just left everything in.
Oh no, there was.
But not.
But whenever they're editing, they're using the same scene.
Yes.
The same clip over and over again.
When they're running from, okay, Mark, Trent, whatever. Let me just preface my other ridiculous moment with this. So Llama spits on him and he starts turning into another alien llama. So at the end of the movie, they're all running through the woods trying to escape the laser eyes, and all of these like firework mortar shells are going off every time the laser eyes hit. And they used the same scene with him running like 5 times in a row.
Yeah, it was really funny. When they did the same thing too when the dad was walking through the barn with the shotgun.
They did, which he continually cocked over and over again.
It was at least 3 times before he fired it.
Yes.
And then it had about 20 shells in it.
He once fired it twice without cocking it. That shit was so funny.
Also, this shotgun had no recoil.
No recoil
whatsoever.
There was like no boom, no recoil,
Yeah.
nothing.
Like, okay, if you're going to make a movie, at least know how these things you're using work.
I don't think they cared.
I don't think they cared.
They didn't care, but still. It's just one of those things that I think about. Going back to that fucking hot tub scene. So, again, just ridiculous moment in the sense that you're actively watching 5 people in a hot tub die by being electrocuted.
For like 5 straight minutes.
Yeah.
But the lead into it is so funny because the llama throws the radio. One guy catches it and he goes, "Hey, I caught it," and everyone starts to cheer. And then you see this llama hoof knock it out of his hands into the water. That shit was the best part. That made me laugh so hard.
But the guy with the horse mask that's just like shaking and his whole face is like blah, blah.
Also, I'm guessing where they were at was like a sunroom, and it was a hot tub that was inside.
But it was like a carpeted room.
Yeah, but it had like a bunch of windows and stuff. I would assume that it was like some sort of like sunroom.
Ranch houses have a lot of those little like transom windows everywhere. So I don't know.
I don't know, but all I know is this room had a lot of fucking water.
Yeah.
Like bottled water. It had probably about like 6 of those 24 packs, and then it had about 10 to 12 of the like gallon jugs.
How did I miss this?
I fucking missed this too.
I don't know. I called it out.
I thought you were talking about the water inside the hot
the
tub.
water in the hot tub. I didn't see.
No, it was just all like bottled water.
And then when you said that, I thought you were talking about the water that they had inside the Busch Light cans, because that was not beer.
Yeah. It definitely were pouring water out of Busch Light cans.
Yes.
Made her a mix. Okay, let's get into this. So Floyd goes to get the cherry picker a drink, and his sister starts mixing it, and there's definitely like Coke in a Crown Royal bottle.
No, she picks up a bottle of Woodford Reserve, and I'm like, how are you going to have an underage party and you have a Woodford Reserve on here anyways, and it's full of Coke.
It's full of Coke, and then she pours in water from a beer can, and then there was water from something else, and then there was actual like Coke from like a Coke bottle.
No ice. Didn't mix it.
Didn't mix it, and he just takes it to her. And then later you see her drinking a beer. After he the whole reason why he got her this drink was because it was explained to him that she doesn't drink beer.
Yeah.
And that was very funny to me.
She decided very quickly that she did not want to have this beer Coke and was like, I'll just fucking drink a beer.
Yeah. It's not even a beer Coke. It was water Coke.
Yeah. Speaking of beer, though.
Yes.
Going back to the hot tub scene.
Yeah,
when Dan walks in with all these beers and just drops them, and they're clearly empty cans.
It's just clank.
It's like clank, clank, clank. Very
he's
much
like, everyone's dead. Everyone in the
Everyone's
hot
dead.
tub is dead.
Yeah, I gotta harp on this because it's 2 minutes. It's like a 2 to 3 minute. Oh no, it's even longer. It's like a 4 or 5 minute scene because Mel and is it Floyd?
Floyd.
No, Mel and Trent.
Yeah,
this is before Trent
her
becomes the
boyfriend,
llama.
Trent. Yeah.
Yeah. So he comes in and he's just like, everyone's dead, and they're like, what are you talking about? He goes, everyone in the hot tub is dead. He doesn't say it for like 3 to 5 minutes. He doesn't say anything but the line, everyone in the hot tub is dead, over and over.
But he switches it up and he's like, they're all dead. In the hot tub, they're dead. Everyone in the hot tub is dead. And
Yeah.
he just like keeps swapping words.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Like, Dan's my hero of the movie. He's my favorite by far.
He's one of the best parts of the movie for sure.
Yeah. Because he also has that like long, awkward dance,
Oh God.
like hallway dance party.
With Mel.
Yeah. And they're doing all of these like sex faces at each other because it's Mel and Dan. And what happened?
I just remembered a moment and got revolted. Please continue.
Okay, because it was them like dancing and
Like to some weird saxophone music.
yeah. After he said like get your instruments in tune, he's describing what a cherry picker is, and they just dance for like 3 minutes.
And it's the most awkward thing to watch.
Yeah, because they do it from multiple angles, and you can
Multiple
tell
angles.
You can tell it's all one take.
Yeah. Like it's just
Seamless.
weird.
With like Kenny G from Wish playing in the background.
Yeah.
The scene when what's his name? Floyd is about to lose his virginity.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mel and Trent are in the bathroom and it's nothing but nonstop tongue, just
Tongues
close
and
shots
Oh my
of
God,
just like,
yeah.
tongue, just.
And
And
then
it's not just Mel and Trent. It's pretty much everybody in the movie at this point.
What was her name? Sarah, the cherry picker? That was Sarah, right?
No,
No,
Sarah
no.
was the one that got
was
laser eyes.
yeah,
in
she was the one
in
in
the
Oh,
blazer.
that's right. But it's Floyd and the cherry picker, and she's like licking his neck scruff and just
Yeah. Ugh.
oh yeah.
And they're all like flicking their tongues at each other, and
And here's the thing is that like nobody really like takes their clothes off. Like you get like the guys take their shirts off and that's it. But it's like Floyd and the cherry picker are laying there in bed and she was like, that was great. And he's like, yeah, it was. And then but he has his shirt off, but like he still has on his jeans.
Yeah.
And then that's when he sits up and he goes, and now I am a man.
Yeah.
we do get one left boob.
Yes.
Oh, it was
And
the- it
that's
was the
that's a text message that Trent gets while they're in the bathroom.
It could have been your boob. Someone else sent you my boob. Well, I saw that dick pic from a few months ago on your phone.
But that was a few months ago. Oh man. Well, and before it's just we keep talking about Trent, and I just have to harp on this at the beginning of the movie when Mel is like, I'm gonna call my friends and we're gonna have a party, and then she goes, I'm gonna call Mark. And there's a good like solid minute of her walking up to the house on the like pretending to be on the phone. And Floyd is like staring at the ground and suddenly he just goes, who the fuck is Mark? And we never find out. Because well, it's funny because it starts with that who the fuck is Mark? And then we assume that Mark is her boyfriend or whatever, and then he shows up and his name's Trent. And then in the rap song in the credits, he refers to Mark being turned into a llama hybrid.
Yeah. So it was probably...
They probably just changed his name halfway through and were like, oh, fuck. His name was supposed to be Mark. Whatever. Who cares?
Well.
But all the names that she rattled off, Sebastian, Barney, like what?
That was
Miguel, hola.
That was like a 4-minute scene. It was so rapid fire that the captioning couldn't keep up.
Didn't she call someone Spike?
Spock. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was... She was literally just sitting there just naming names that came to the top of her head.
Yeah. That was really funny. I feel like there's very little like written out dialogue. I think a lot of this was them trying to come up with it, but they're all such bad actors that it was very stiff anyway.
No, it had like written out dialogue because one of the scientists completely forgot his lines and like paused for like 5 to 10 seconds.
Oh yeah, and he looked down at his binder that he was holding.
Yeah.
To get that was the guy whose voice changed.
Yeah.
Yep.
He also became a man.
A little man brother.
A little man brother.
I think my favorite part, though, was that the llama was continuously Gallagher, and his hooves were the hammer.
Yeah.
He would just get to stomp it, and blood would just spray.
Oh yeah. His hooves were the sledge-o-matic.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Pull that out. What's up? I'm not super old and grew up watching Gallagher on TV.
You still watch Gallagher?
I love Gallagher.
So I guess speaking of that, whenever the girl dies,
Which girl?
the girl who's playing the beer pong with her
Yeah.
boyfriend that gets mad at her boyfriend, so they both go outside and she gets stomped on, you can still clearly see her breathing.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's she's like breathing heavy. It's not
Yeah.
like she's trying to like hold her breath or breathe shallowly. She's like breathing like these long, deep breaths. And it's like
You're supposed to be dead.
you're supposed to be dead, and we can clearly see you breathing.
She put that little blood pill that started spilling out, and then she's still like,
It's like whenever you're a kid and you're imagining somebody breaking into your house and
Yes.
sleeping
Yeah.
under your covers, and you try to hold your breath so much, but you just can't.
I love that every kid at some point does that. So now we're like, oh, yeah, I've been there.
Oh yeah,
We all know. We all know.
it's relatable.
Yeah.
I do love when Trent is like half llama and he starts giving birth
Oh, I
to
was
these
gonna
eggs.
say. I was going to go. Are you doing to talk about him giving? He's like shitting. Like he has a. Like it's not even like a vagina. It's just there's like a rip in the fur,
Yeah.
and somebody is clearly behind him, wiggling these goo-covered fur eggs out from between his legs, and then they realized that in the shot, they realized that the way they were sitting, they couldn't just push it out and it would just plop out. So he just would he started grabbing them and then setting
And
them aside.
forcing them out. Yeah. Rolling them to the side. I do want to say that the eggs came out of his front butt, and
Yeah.
it was very clearly in text messages early on in the movie. They were talking about front butts. Did you
Sarah
miss that?
and Mel, they were talking
Yeah.
about front butts.
They were talking about
Yeah.
front butts.
Oh my God. I didn't even think about that.
Oh, you mean the text where she wouldn't look at her phone? She was just looking up at the text on the screen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's looking up at and she's like texting.
What she's supposed to be responding to. And Sarah, whenever she gets killed, she texts her screaming. Like you see this one text come up that's like, ah!
After the fireworks went off in her car.
Yeah.
That shit was so good.
You know, one thing I loved about that scene is they just have a parked car, no lights on, no nothing. And then they have the llama walking up and he's all backlit and it's supposed to look like a moving car.
Yeah.
Love it.
So good. Well, I think she slams on her brakes,
Yeah.
but it doesn't explain why like the lights of the car are off and why it's just like sitting there.
like pulled over on the shoulder. It was
Yeah.
like leaning into the field.
Yeah, that was just very good. Oh, real fast, can we talk about going back to Trent? Because Trent's one of the more interesting characters because something actually happens to him and he like changes. But it's so he gets impregnated. Yeah, when he like they when they do the cut to a car, like because the llama catches up to him and they cut it to cartoon for
Yeah.
a moment, and then he like this is the point when he like grows the ears, and then you like see him with the ears. Like immediately after this, you see him like they taped the ears on his head. And that
Yeah.
was really funny. But in the cartoon scene is when the llama's like, I guess pelvic area splits open, and instead of like a dick coming out, it's a bunch of tentacles that just grab him and pull him closer to it or whatever. And then it cuts back to like, real time, like real shots.
Time lapse.
Time lapse.
Time
lapse is
God damn it.
that's a good fucking joke.
Where everybody's just sitting on the couch and just this header comes up on the screen. It's a black screen with white text. It just says time lapse.
Mhm.
For like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And then they're just all high.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just pops up there in Courier New. That's the font.
Oh my
I don't know if it was Courier New or not, but it might have been.
It's pretty close. It's definitely not one they had to pay for.
Oh, no, they didn't have to pay for that.
No.
So one thing that we kind of forgot to mention whenever Trent is this half llama hybrid is at one point he screams, "I'm a fucking llama man." And it was so good.
Oh, you got a fucking llama man. You got a little man
Floyd,
brother.
little man brother.
This is great. There's so many mans. Then you get Floyd's dad, who's a fucking badass.
Who has a couple kids, might have a few.
Yeah, not clear on whether or not Floyd's dad is a prostitute.
I think Floyd's dad is a prostitute.
I think Floyd's dad is a prostitute. They didn't come right out and say it, but that would explain why that girl gave him money.
Maybe.
Because she just handed him a wad of cash.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
told him basically she was going to get pregnant.
Yeah, and he didn't care. He was like, cool.
Cool. All right.
They didn't tell him where they were. They didn't because the phone was breaking up.
Because he's a good father. He knows.
But he just goes, I have to go save my kids. And he hangs up the phone and walks out, and that's it. And it's just there's no conversation of like, hey, there's this crazy thing happening and we need your help. It was just kind of like, I can't hear you. I have to go save my kids.
And then he gets there, and that llama shoots up its laser beams through the park because Floyd's like, I want to see if it's God. And it crawls and looks through this hole, and the llama's staring right at him straight up.
Definitely not gone.
Definitely not God.
It shoots the lasers through the roof, and Floyd's dad goes, fucking kids and their lasers. Yeah. And then he cocks. That's the first time he racks the shotgun.
Yeah.
Damn Bigfoot.
Where did that come from? He's complaining about a Bigfoot for no reason whatsoever.
That probably explains why there were a lot of like Bigfoot related movies that came up afterward that were like suggested movies.
But I love how whenever he goes back to the car, I didn't know he was going to get his gun, and he just reaches and grabs those wooden beads on the back of his seat. I'm like, is he going to kill the llama with this?
I thought the same thing. I was like, what's he doing? And then he like pulls out a shotgun. I was like, oh, he moved the seat. I'm the dumb one.
Yeah, I felt the same way. I mean, could you just imagine that though? Just whipping chair beads around?
Yes.
So this is Howie Dewin.
Yes.
How we doing? Yeah. Okay. So I didn't look it up. Hannah, you looked it up earlier.
Yeah, I looked it up on IMDb and looked at the director. And I wasn't paying attention to what his name was until I read it out loud. I went, oh, that's a fake name.
Yeah. Definitely fake. So I will say this, like, How We Doing is not the only made up name. It seemed like everybody in this movie had made up names.
There were a lot of them.
There were
definitely a lot of them. But if you weren't paying attention when the credits are rolling, because while the credits are rolling, they start the movie over at like 25x speed.
Yeah.
And it's rolling through, but they don't even make it, like they just barely make it to the end of the movie by the time the credits are done.
Yeah.
And that is so funny that is a
rewatched
choice
the
they
movie
made.
all over again in fast forward.
Yeah, which made some scenes even funnier, like the awkward dance scene.
Yeah.
Like that was great. It's like so much stuff was just great. Like just made me laugh so much at like having it in fast forward.
One of the fake names is Trent, who is Gooch Jesco III.
Yes, yes. I saw that and it made me laugh. Oh man.
So what did it say at the end of the credits? It said no llamas were hurt in the making of this film. And then it had something else.
It said, no llamas were hurt during the production of this film, just the dignities of all involved.
Which, I mean, gives you an idea that they knew what they were doing.
Yeah, if you didn't know, by the end of the credits, they just straight up tell you. They're like, no, we set out to make this trash fire of a movie.
But I love how on the IMDb page under goofs, it says, this movie got made.
Yeah, this movie got made.
That's the goof. One of the promotional posters for this movie says, a woolly terror from space. Could this be Llamageddon?
The promotional posters for this movie are fucking great. Like, everybody go look at them.
So there is a point in the movie whenever the llama first gets to Earth, like I guess crashes its spaceship and is walking out of the ship, you can see the shadow of the cameraman.
Yeah.
Oh, this is in between the two title cards.
Yeah. The two title cards of the movie.
Because they did a title card at the end of the cartoon intro, and then they show the llama getting out of the spaceship, and you can see the backlit cameraman, and then they put up another title card.
Yes.
And that's just it's the little touches.
Like, I really wish they would have kept that going and just put a title card in just every 15 minutes.
That would have been really funny.
Time lapse. Llamageddon.
It's just that was a super solid joke, and that made me laugh because it was we were sitting there and I went, wait a minute. That's a second title card.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, so I just found this. Apparently, it was supposed to be a student project at Miami University, and then it morphed into a post-graduation full-blown film with 25 to 30 students as cast and crew.
That's
awesome.
Funny.
Yeah.
That explains a lot.
Yeah.
That
explains a lot.
Yeah.
That explains a whole fucking lot about this movie.
Yes, it does.
The budget was under just $3,000. I finally found it.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yay.
Nice. We finally got a budget for
this. All right,
this.
cool. Jared, cut that. Put it at the beginning.
Dick. So, someone goes, okay, tell the truth. Is Louie a lush? Louie the llama? And he goes, let's just put it out there. Louie likes to have a good time. Not only does he follow in the footsteps of Jack Sparrow with his love for rum, but he also likes to puff the magic dragon. It's a llama.
Oh, because when Angry Boyfriend got his finger spit off, it's because he was giving the blunt to Louie the llama.
Yeah.
And you actually see him you actually see smoke come out from the other side of his mouth, but you can tell that he's a good 2 feet away from the llama. Because that llama could have actually bit him.
Or spit on him. I bet he would have liked that.
Who wouldn't?
Floyd's dad when he licked it off that post.
Oh yeah, he didn't like the taste.
Yep.
So he just sees this green ooze just dripping down a post and decides to just touch it and then lick it off of his finger.
But he touched it and got it on 2 of his fingertips, and then in the next shot his hand is covered in it, and then he reaches back up and gets more and then licks it.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's another thing that's super funny about this movie is that there's little things like someone's hair being different in multiple cuts in the same shot in the same scene. Like from one angle there's no gel in the hair, like Floyd.
Yeah.
At one angle there's no gel in his hair, another angle there is. Then you go back to the other angle and there isn't, and you go back to another angle and there is. And then you have another angle where his hair is just completely slicked back. And it's so funny.
And I can't tell if it's just continuity errors or if they literally did it on purpose.
Yeah.
I think it's on purpose.
It could be, but then again, it might not be.
For me watching this movie, I think that everything that was done on purpose.
It might have been.
Because I mean, the whole thing is meant to be a joke. It's supposed to be horror comedy.
Yes.
But it's also here's all these film students, and they're like, hey, let's they're essentially saying like, let's make one of the worst things that we possibly can, and let's do like a bunch of funny like shit that would irritate us if we saw it, but like do it a lot so it becomes funny.
Yeah.
But I mean, they made several references to Evil Dead, and I feel like this was kind of what they wanted their Evil Dead to be in a way.
Yeah. Well, you can tell that there are moments that are like little homages to other movies. I mean, this definitely had a Scream homage with the house party, and then they're just straight up talking about Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, and the new Evil Dead. I mean, like, and then there's like, I can't even remember the other ones, but I was like, oh, that's funny. That's this. And like, there's little moments in it where it's just like, it feels like they made this for themselves and they didn't actually make it for everyone else.
No, they definitely made this for themselves.
Yeah.
So,
like most student films are.
yeah.
They're made for themselves.
Or, most films made in a 48-hour film festival.
Yeah, but those are typically shorts. So,
yeah.
I mean, this one was short. It was only 69 minutes.
Nice.
technically, a feature is 45 minutes or above.
God, freaking film nerd. Shut up.
Get out of here, nerd alert.
I'm a man.
I'm a man. I have become a man.
But I love when she was like, when did you grow up? And he's like, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah. He just shows up and he's like, yeah, let's go back inside and drink.
Yeah, that was really weird.
He's like, because he had just thrown up and then he had sex and now he's like, let's like fucking party. I'm a man now.
I got a tolerance all of a sudden. I'm going to go party in Grandpa's crawl space that he built to dodge the draft.
It wasn't even a tunnel. It was literally
It went to the other side of the barn.
It was a door to the hayloft in the barn, and he said it was a tunnel to dodge the draft. That shit was so funny.
Okay. One more thing, though. When they first get to the house and their mom is like, y'all need to stay here until we sort out the will. And they're basically teenagers and she's just leaving them in the house by themselves for who knows how long. And I mean, they only carry in like one tiny little tote bag each. It's like, what do you have in there? A toothbrush? Like, there's no clothes, nothing. And she's like, look, your brother is sensitive. He's different. He took the divorce harder than you did. And if he wets the bed, don't bring it up. Mom, why did you tell her? And they do that zoomed in weird little shots.
Very tight shots on all of their faces. And it's just like really weird, kind of fisheye lens. Well, it's so weird.
The first close shot you get is their prostitute dad from like his chin up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you notice that at the beginning of the movie, Floyd had braces, and then after he had sex, he didn't have braces anymore.
I did not notice that.
I was like, hey, wait a minute, where did his braces go? It was just at like some point I was like, oh my God, he doesn't have braces anymore because they made it a point to show his braces.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, because he was sticking his little tongue out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they did that zoomed in. Ugh, that scene.
A lot of zooming in this movie, a lot of weird angles.
It's like they were like, hey, what is this? But oh my God, we have to leave this in the movie.
All right, let's go ahead and get into ratings. Nathan, what do you think?
I'm gonna give it a skull. This was fun as hell, and I would watch this with other people. I mean, it's like, and now after I've watched it and I'm processing it more, I'm appreciating that we're talking about it because we were talking about it in between watching it and now, and we were like saying like everyone in the hot tub is dead and laughing because that's clearly meant to be a joke, and we walked away with that as a joke. Like there's things about this movie that we walked away from going, that was really funny.
Yeah.
And it was clearly intended to be. So skull from me.
All right, Hannah, what about you?
I didn't want to, but I'm going to give it a skull. Kind of for the same reason. You kind of just said this, Nathan, but watching it the first time, there were so many things that you just have to process. And it's a lot at once. And it's just rapid fire weird shit. Especially all the gross tongue scenes and all the stuff. So I think, God, like, I mean, I made a reference to Hell Baby and I was like, that was worse than the eating scene for me. It was just, I wanted to leave. But I think, you know, like you said, after processing everything and then knowing what's happening and showing it to somebody else for the first time, I would just die. So, yeah, I will give it a llama skull.
All right, Jared. Final verdict.
This one is very hard for me.
Oh, that's what she said.
So my first instinct is to say I don't want to give this a skull. There were a lot of moments in this where I was bored to some degree.
Yeah. Like early on in the movie, for sure.
I do appreciate some of the humor that they have. I don't know. I can't realistically sit here and say that I would tell somebody else to watch this. I don't think I'm going to give this one a skull, but I can see why you two did.
I'm real upset.
We're both very disappointed.
We're both very disappointed, I know. But I mean, look, like I said, this is really a toss-up, and I just go back to typically if I'm watching a movie and it's entertaining, that's one thing. And there are definitely entertaining moments, but there were a lot of moments where I was like, I'm just kind of bored right now.
Yeah.
So that's the reason I'm not giving it a skull.
I get that.
I mean,
I just like to make people suffer.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, there definitely were points where, I mean, well, we talked about it when the movie was over. We were like, yeah, we started this at like around 7, and it's 8:30 now, and it felt like it was 11 o'clock. It felt like we had watched a 2-hour movie.
Yes.
There's a lot that happens in this movie, and a lot of people and things had to die.
A lot of names. None of them showed up.
A lot of people did not have names.
Miguel was definitely not there.
Miguel was not there.
No, Miguel was not there. Oh, Miguel, hola. That's what she says to him.
I see you.
I see.
Hello.
Fernell.
Fernell.
Hello. But also, who the fuck is Mark?
We don't know. I don't know. Mark, if you're out there, let us know.
I think Mark sent Trent the picture of the boob.
Maybe.
Solved it.
It's Mark's boob.
It's Mark's boob.
Mark got them fat titties, man.
Mark sent Trent a picture of Mel's left titty.
Marissa's?
Yeah. Marissa. Mel. Right. Mel. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. If you want to join in the conversation, you want to laugh at the movies with us, you want to suggest future movies for us to watch, we would absolutely love that. You can find us on Twitter at Spoop Squad. You can find us on Facebook at The Squad Podcast, and our email is spoopsquad@gmail.com. I'm giving a long pause because
that I'm just gonna have to edit out.
You have to cut out. You have to cut out me going, I'm gonna try this out, because I was like, why did I do that? Because I did so well leading up into that. Okay. And remember, everybody, everyone in the hot tub is dead.
I hope you spoop your pants. Like Nathan, I hope you spoop your pants specifically.
I already did.
Oh, it smells like it.